Good evening. Welcome to the DeadZone. This is a place where the strange and unusual occurrences happen, a place where people exhibit the most outlandish and reckless behavior, a place that seems to be out of a scary sci-fi movie. It may even seem that you crossed into another dimension of time and space. No, folks, the DeadZone is real, and the people that reside there are real, but mentally dead. Some are this way due to being naive. Others are this way because of a daily consumption of false and misleading information. Sadly to report, many are this way because of willful ignorance. We will attempt to resurrect these individuals from the DeadZone. We will try to give them a regular dose of reality and a healthy diet of true and factual information. Soon, the brain-dead individual should reverse course and recover. The individual should be left with a thriving and thinking brain and escape the DeadZone. In this case study, we will review several instances where one group of people attacks its own for not following or keeping in line with what they deem is acceptable behavior in society. Recently, Gucci put out an article of clothing which was perceived by some in the black community as racist. It caused a bit of an uproar among a few vocal rappers. Gucci has come out with a formal apology and pulled the balaclava sweater off the market. The sweater was deemed racist because some felt it resembled the blackface which was popular during the antebellum times. The blackface minstrel shows soared in popularity after the Civil War and on into the first part of the 20th century. Many of these minstrel shows portrayed African Americans in the most degrading manner. The character usually had exaggerated features such as enlarged lips and very black skin. This was also accompanied by a buffoonish act or skit which further disparaged the African American people. Consequently, due to its popularity, some African Americans themselves succumbed to this type of artistry and wore the black face in order to be in the entertainment industry. Just a side note, today African Americans continue to comply with humiliating demands of the entertainment industry. The industry seems to often require African American men to dress in full drag. Back to Gucci. Everybody in the black community had mixed feelings about the situation. Some was not as bothered by the Gucci incident and continued to support Gucci. This, on the other hand, further outraged the most vocal proponents who were demanding that the black community boycott Gucci. These individuals seem to demonstrate groupthink mentality. When someone chooses to be an individual and not go along with their demands, that individual is harassed and bullied until he or she acquiesces. We have seen this ostracism take place time and time again. During the 2016 election cycle, many in the black community was told not to work with President Trump. If you dared to do otherwise, you were relentlessly bullied and called despicable names and threatened with financial losses. Unfortunately, those who were weak-minded caved under the onslaught of backlash. These so-called concerned black activist protesters engaged in the most uncivilized behavior against their own people. They showed us how they are filled with hatred and hypocrisy. The object of their most recent display of hostility is Mr. Floyd Mayweather Jr. Mr. Mayweather has let it be publicly known that he is not a follower and he loves everyone. He said that Gucci has been good to him and he will continue to support and shop at their store. He has been standing firm in opposition to these so-called concerned black activists. We must accept that a lot of people have no true connection with God and are just filled with hatred. Let us continue to point out these horrible actions of others and pray for these poor misguided souls that are so intolerant of others. By God's grace, they can be resurrected from the DeadZone. Knowing the history of the black community, could this be a more sinister plot on the left? We know that the left love to perpetuate racial tension among the masses. The recent false attack claims by actor Jussie Smollett tried to push the false narrative that MAGA supporters as racist homophobes. It just all seems a bit suspect. Could it be that they are gearing up for the 2020 election cycle? The left's white liberals know that if they stoke the fires of racial tension, this will keep the uninformed black voters tied to their party, thus securing the majority of the black vote. Yes, they know that many black people are predisposed to act out a certain way when perceived racism is involved. Thank you for tuning in to the Dead Zone. Come back each week as we explore a different case and try to bring back lost individuals from the Dead Zone.